and then it's like $30 a month to track all your crap. But so far, I'm pretty happy with it.
All right, everybody. Well, we're finally online, and I am sorry for the delay. I had some technical difficulties. It was all my fault. But I finally got everybody on. It's the first time I've ever had, like, multiple group chat on, so this is super sweet. So with me, I have some folks that I did this awesome hike with a couple weeks back. I got Tim Watson. I got Josh, Subaru Josh Ebersole. I got Josh Harrod and Brandon Gronsky. Right?
Glomsky.
What did I say?
I'm getting
Close enough.
I'm getting
Close
the
enough.
disrespect.
GL
Glomsky.
Glomsky.
Oh,
Glomsky.
Did I put an R in there?
Just call me Ski. Just call me Ski.
Skeeter.
Well, thanks so much for coming on, guys. I really appreciate it. So I just wanted to talk about our trip. And I thought we were going to have to compete with the Shills tonight, but they finished their live stream. So whoever wasn't decided to watch that could come over here and watch this.
You mean they had to compete with us?
Right, exactly. The star power here in this video is immense. I have the big T on my video. So, guys, first off, what did y'all think of the Triple Crown hike? What'd you think of that trip?
It was awesome.
It probably was like. Go ahead, Karate.
It was awesome. It was beautiful.
Yeah. It was top two hikes I've ever taken.
You've only done two.
Oh crap! No, it was actually way more beautiful than I thought it was going to be. When you think about Virginia, it's not. Obviously, it's a beautiful state, but I don't put that up there with like North Carolina or some of these other ones. It was like incredible.
Yeah, it was actually. It was a lot harder than I thought it would be. I mean, not that it was impossible, but it definitely was more challenging than I anticipated. I think when we were done, we kind of, at least for me, it probably was probably one of my at the top two, maybe the second hardest hike I think I've ever done on the East Coast.
I agree with that.
It really was. It was a challenging hike. It surprised me, honestly. Because so originally, for you guys who don't know the story, we had planned to go to the Smokies, and that was we were going to do a loop to, Abrams Falls to Gregory Bald, and that was our original plan. We've been planning that for, a couple months, something like that, and kind of forgot to look at the permits that the permits were so easy to get, and we're like, that's awesome. And then we started looking at it. Josh started looking at it and was like, wow, nobody else has booked these campsites, which is weird for April in the Smokies. And so then we kind of looked at the permits, and it says, what did it say? Notice part of the trail is impassable or something.
It said like Forney Creek Road or something like that was closed. And I was like, oh. When I originally saw it, I thought it was usually closed for the winter. And so I was like, oh, it's just closed for the winter. Well, then I'm reading that it said like closed until like July. I was like, what? And so I called the ranger station, and they're like, yeah, they're doing construction on the road that it's impassable. I'm like completely impassable, or just like you don't want people to really walk down the road? She's like, no, they're redoing like 5 bridges. I was like, so what am I supposed to do then? Like, I have this whole route planned, and you're telling me the last 3 miles is closed? I was like, are the creeks passable? She's like, no, that's not even a good idea. So thanks, Pam.
So people in the chat are saying they're getting a lot of echo. Is that better, guys? Can somebody in the chat tell me if it's better?
I got headphones in, so hopefully that helps with
I'm
the
using multiple
echo.
NDI sources here in OBS, so that's probably why we had the echo going on. I've muted all but one. Fixed. Okay. Awesome. Yes. So we determined that that hike was not going to happen. So we were like, well, crap, what are we going to do now? And so Josh was like, well, how about we just do the Triple Crown in Virginia? And we looked at it, was 35 miles in 2.5 days, something like that. We're like, yeah, no problem. We got this.
Strike 2.
So, yeah, I mean, it was absolutely amazing, though, right? The weather was like perfect, really. Did you guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely had like I don't know what it was, but it was definitely, we had like charmed weather to the point where I know, Lance, did you even bring your
No, I
rain
left it in the
jacket?
car.
Yeah, and I mean the rain jacket stayed in the back of my bottom of my pack, and I think I had to pull the tarp out the first night because I felt a little bit of a raindrop. But I mean, other than that, the weather was awesome.
Yeah, because since we were originally planning for the Smokies, I was planning on taking all this rain gear and stuff, and I was like, okay, it's the and I was thinking Virginia, it's still the mountains, you're still high up. There's going to be probably precipitation at some point, and then it was like the forecast was like nothing, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm not taking an extra, and I was like, well, I might regret this. I don't care. No, I didn't.
Literally, it was raining on the way there, and then like the next 3 days after we left, it was supposed to rain. So we had like the perfect window.
Perfect window.
Yeah.
The only thing we didn't really anticipate was the wind that came, and I don't know if that was the front that came through the night before, because it did rain the night before when we were at the hotel, I believe.
I think it sprinkled a little.
Yeah, sprinkled a little. But when we woke up on Friday and left for the trail, and it was like 50, 60 mile, I don't know, 50 mile per hour wind gusts, something like that.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I said that pretty easy because I remember when we were up on McAfee. There we go, I said it right.
McAfee.
When we were up on McAfee. McAfee. Dang it! See, I always get it wrong. McAfee knob. It was just like, I remember I was actually a little afraid of like how much that was whipping around there, of getting too close to the edge. What about you guys?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We all wanted to do the iconic shot of being on top of that rock, and I was like, I'm not going out there, man. I'll blow right off the mountain. I think Josh did it, and
yeah,
I think both the Joshes did it.
I was out there for like 30 seconds. I think Tim was taking pictures, and you see in the video he took of me. I'm like, okay, that's enough. I'm going back.
Yeah, I was out there. It was crazy out there, though. Howie was laying down out on the tip. He was fine with it.
And so I didn't even get close enough to the edge. I mean, is that like a straight drop down, like to nothing, or is there like another ledge down below it?
Buddy, go lay down.
Straight down?
Straight down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know that one part that where we ended up having lunch, there was kind of like another ledge, like 15 feet down or so, that like if you had fallen off that, you'd be okay. It hurt, but...
Yeah, no, that as far as I know, there was nothing down there that I saw.
Yeah, it was pretty much a straight fall down, I think.
But that was one thing that I don't really think about when I go backpacking at all, is what the wind will do to you. So Tim, you made a good point. Like, it just kind of felt like, even though we were drinking a lot of water, we still felt dehydrated because the wind was like whipping the moisture out of us. And
yeah. No, I definitely noticed that. I know, like, when we came back, like, we were all, at least I was, pretty windburnt, and, like, my lips took a couple of days before they actually healed fully. Like, I had to smear them with, like, chapstick the entire time when we came back.
Yeah, I had a definite windburn. I was like, man, I don't think it's sunburn. I think it's windburn. It stung. But, we were worried about, at some points, trees landing on top of us or something, and I was like, oh. But you don't think about the other effects of wind that has on you. You think about rain and storms and snow and all that stuff, but wind is a big factor when you're out there. It would have been nice to have a wind jacket, instead of a rain jacket, just a light shell or something. Probably would have helped.
Oh.
But then
the only other time I felt wind like that is when me and Tim were doing the Maroon Bells. Remember, we were going over that second pass?
Yeah.
And that was crazy. It was like sleeting down rain and super high wind, like 12,000 feet.
Yep, I remember that one because I always remember that pass because it was storming and there was lightning, and I was making a joke with the guys who were just ahead of us. I was like, "Hey, you have a metal trekking pole, right?" He's like, "Yeah, what about it?" I'm like, "Well, you can hold it up for us, if we walk by you." And he didn't think that was funny.
Went sliding down the other side of that pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that wind in Virginia definitely was something else. And I think at one point, I think on camp the first night, I thought it was supposed to stop at midnight. But then when we, like around 2 o'clock in the morning, it sounded like a train was kind of going through with how loud that wind was. Did you guys wake up
They woke me
when
up.
that happened?
Because you were in a
Yeah, I
hammock,
did.
so it was probably swinging you all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was one of the few trips that I actually brought a tent on, which it was fine, but I kind of regret bringing the extra weight in the long run, because that's a pretty heavy tent. It's not the light version of that Skyscape tent that I have.
I feel like everyone had just like, because in the Smokies, the campsites were going to be smaller. So everyone kind of stuck to be like, that tent mode. I don't know about Karate. What did you think? Like, at any point did you think, maybe we'll try our hammocks because we're switching to Virginia, or?
So I actually thought about bringing my hammock, and Hallie's got a dream hammock too, and she's been wanting to use it. She just got it. So I was like, oh, maybe we could bring our hammock. And then I kind of was like researching the trip, and I was like, I don't know. So I just stuck with the tent. But, I don't know. You know how it is. Sometimes like when you got like 3 or 4 people with a hammock trying to find places to hang, and sometimes it gets tough. The tent's just easier.
Yeah, I think we would have been fine I think both of those sites we would have been fine. Definitely the first one we probably would have been fine. I don't know about the other one, because the other one was basically like a car camp at Dragon's Tooth Trailhead. That was amazing. I could not believe all those sites that were back there.
It must be a popular spot, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm guessing a lot of people just they drive to the trailhead, they make camp overnight, and then they hike up to the Dragon's Tooth the next morning or something, and that's just the whole experience that they do.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people hiking going into camp with like full pillows. And so those are people that they just parked at the trailhead, which I think is great. I mean, if I lived within an hour of something like that, I would definitely be there camping all the time. So I don't blame them at all. But we got pretty lucky that we were actually able to even get a site that night.
I mean, I hiked in a full cooler of beer.
You did. Did you even get to drink any?
I drank one before we went out to eat.
Yeah, so these guys ended up going to a barbecue restaurant, the Dragon's Tooth hikers. That's pretty awesome. You can't do that when you're backpacking usually.
Food was so good.
Yeah, no one gave us that idea, so me and Lance ate while you guys went up to Dragon's Tooth, and then you got back and we're gonna go barbecue, and I'm like, well, I'm full, so I don't even want to go.
They're gonna be so freaking hungry when they get back, and they're gonna have to cook in the dark, and it's gonna suck, and we're gonna be like, yeah, and then you guys are like, we're going to barbecue.
We were taught, that was the thing driving us up Dragon's Tooth. I feel like I was like, oh man, we're gonna get barbecue when we come back down.
That's the only thing that got us back down.
So,
my knees were starting to kill me.
That last like 5 miles was tough. The hike up the Dragon's Tooth and back down, that was pretty tough.
So apparently a lot of people that do the loop that we did start at Dragon's Tooth. So they start fresh. They hit Dragon's Tooth first, and then they do the rest of the loop, which kind of makes sense because we were trying to do it at the end when we were all spent, or most of us were spent.
Yeah, I kind of like the way we did it, though, for some reason. I think a couple times I was thinking as we were hiking around like the man, I'm going to say it wrong. McAfee, there we go, thank you. The A's always give me trouble. McAfee Knob and Tinker Cliff, as we were going around that side, I remember thinking like, man, it must really stink to come up this way. Worse than anything I thought that we did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess people still do it counterclockwise, but they would just start at Dragon's Tooth. But yeah, I guess you have to.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, it'd be. Well, I don't know. It was tough either way, I think.
Yeah, I think Dragon's Tooth was amazing. It was definitely hard to do it on that last day though. Like I was spent when we were done. Like I probably could have gone a little bit more if it was like flat. I could not do any more uphill.
It's like the rock scrambling to get up there when you're tired. That's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's why I was afraid that I was gonna, make a mistake at that point.
Yeah, probably that would have been bad. Brandon,
Not much room for mistake up there.
Yeah,
there wasn't much room on the ledges.
No. Brandon, what do you think about how fast we went up Dragon's Tooth?
I think a lot of the excitement kind of took away the pain. We're like, hey, this doesn't hurt. This is kind of cool, as we're like literally rock climbing, essentially. But yeah, on the way down, I actually was afraid how that was going to go, but it wasn't near as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I thought we flew up that. Didn't you, Karate? I feel like that. I don't remember hiking that fast uphill in a long time.
Yeah, we were moving. But I agree with Brandon. I thought like coming down as we were going up, because like the cliff ledge was so small in some of those areas. Like in some of those areas, we had like a foot of like cliff ledge to like walk on and scale up. I'm like, this is going to be tough to come down, but it actually really wasn't too bad. I thought coming down was quite a bit easier.
Yeah, Josh and I were worried about you guys. We're like, man, they're going to have to come down that in the dark, and that's going to be freaky.
It's really just like that last like quarter mile, half mile or so that gets kind of like sketchy.
Yeah, that 0.7 or whatever it was. Once you see that sign of the intersection, there's a bunch of camps there. Like that was the sketchy part. Like from there on back, it's like a little over a mile and a half or something like that back to our camp was pretty much. It reminded me of the Smokies with those big trails like ridge walking up, and then it went around and wrapped around the mountain. But yeah, I mean it was cool.
But you guys would say it was worth it though.
Yep.
Definitely.
Oh,
It was.
Yeah. It was amazing. I think I remember that spot where we had to kind of chimney up Dragon's Tooth. It kind of reminded me of Red River Gorge with Cloud Splitter. If you go through the cave area, it kind of reminded me a little bit of that.
Yeah, Josh and I decided we're going to have to go back just to hit Dragon's Tooth now.
Yeah, Jordan and I are talking about going back, possibly Labor Day weekend, because I don't know about you guys, but I loved Roanoke. Like that whole area was gorgeous, and I could definitely see myself going back. And that coffee shop me and Lance went to, I felt like I did not get enough time there, and so I think Jordan and I might possibly go back over Labor Day weekend and hike Dragon's Tooth. And I really, really want to stay in one of those AT shelters. I think that'd be a ton of fun. And because I was looking forward to staying at Lambert Meadow on Friday night. I'm looking back, I'm glad we pushed on, because there's no way we would have made it all the way from Lambert Meadow to Dragon's Tooth on Saturday. It would have kicked our butts, or we would have got there super late. But I like to do this shelter experience again. I mean, last time we slept in a shelter was Mount LeConte a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'd like to do it again and do McAfee Knob again, or McAfee or whatever again, because that was awesome. I'd like to get a better iconic picture when it's not 60-mile-per-hour winds.
Yeah, I think that'd be a fun one to do. Like you just said, if you didn't even have to do a loop, if you really wanted to, you could just do McAfee, Knob, and Dragon's Tooth, and I mean you could pretty much hit that in a day and see both of those.
Yeah.
How long did it even take us to get to McAfee Knob? I felt like we went pretty quick.
Like an hour, maybe.
No, it took a little longer because we stopped there for lunch. It was an early lunch, but like it was like I think we got on the trail about maybe 2 hours. So I feel like we ate lunch
probably
early.
2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like 4.2 miles, something like that. But I feel like it was
because I remember feeling like that wasn't bad at all. Like if the whole trail is like this, then it's cool.
Yeah, from the McAfee Knob trailhead to McAfee Knob, it's 3.9 miles, and I think we hit the trail right around like 8:30 or 8:40, so a little over 2 hours. But we did kind of gawk around a lot because there's a couple of overlooks, and so we took our time going up, and at least I did, and so yeah, it took us about 2 hours. Super. I mean, it was, to me personally, it was a super easy hike up to McAfee Knob, and like Lance said, the whole time I'm thinking, man, if it's like this the whole entire trip, it's going to be a breeze. And spoiler alert, it wasn't. And but yeah, it wasn't. To McAfee Knob, you could easily do that in just a couple hours.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Lance, this is.
Who was it that said North Mountain Trail was flat?
I think I may have said
that. All right, Lance. There came a point in our trip where we did. Remember, we stopped by the cutoff to Lambert Meadow, and we had the option of going to Lambert Meadow, where we knew water was for sure, and we had the other option of going on that private land for like 3 miles or something. How mad were you when we decided to push on?
I wasn't. I was just like, oh, man, I'm tired. I wasn't mad.
Oh, good.
But I was kind of like, no, I wasn't mad. I was just kind of like Josh. I was like, I kind of want to stay at the shelter, but I'm absolutely glad that we did that, because the following day would have been even worse than it was for me.
Yeah, we would have to drag you.
Well, you practically did, as it was.
No, we didn't. But yeah, it was, I think, because we were at 10 miles pretty much to that cutoff, right?
So for people watching who don't know, so when you do this loop, you come to a point where there's the last shelter on the AT before you branch off to what's called the North Mountain. Well, it's not that you don't go directly to North Mountain. You hit the Catawba River. Yeah, Andy Lane Trail. I'm sorry. Yeah, so Andy Lane is it goes across a stretch of privately owned land, which is really nice of the owner of this land to let the trail go through there, because otherwise you'd be screwed. There's no other way to get over there. But you can't camp on it, and there's no real water on it. So we just had to push through, and we wanted to try to get as many miles in as we could that first day, so that the second day wasn't so terrible. So Tim was like, I think we just need to keep going. And that was a good decision. But we didn't know what our water situation was going to be, so we had to stop at the Catawba River, I think it was called, Big Catawba River or whatever, and Camel Up. And so we were all carrying like 10 pounds of water, filling up everything. I know Brandon even he was filling up cups or something, or what were you filling up?
I made tea. It's like, I'm not going to make this at camp, so I just made my tea and drank it as we were hiking. Oh, I filled my oats bag with water too.
and then Josh almost got bit by a snake.
Yeah, we almost had.
So if you haven't seen any of the videos of that, Herod was sitting on a rock with his feet in the water, and Tim's like, "There's a snake right there," and he's like, "Oh, that's funny." And he's like, "No, there's a snake right there," and there was like a snake on the bridge right behind where he was sitting. And did we ever determine if that was a copperhead or not? We don't know.
Not sure
what it was. It wasn't very big, but it kind of did look like a copperhead.
Looked like a baby copperhead to me.
Yeah.
The head was like
none of us got. Yeah, none of us got close enough to find out, and I'm totally okay with that.
All I know is Tim was like, "Hey, there's a snake there," and I thought he was kidding. And then when I realized he was serious, I got the heck out of it.
Yeah, and then we just spent the next like 20 minutes trying to determine what kind of snake this was. So,
I'm barefoot in the water, hoping that like snakes aren't swimming around me.
I don't know what it is about once you see a snake on a hike, like you're paranoid that there's snakes everywhere. It's like Indiana Jones, like there's snakes everywhere. Just gotta. It's probably like they probably are everywhere, but you just don't see them. But
yeah, that was the first snake I've seen on a backpacking trip, and I've never really, it's always in the back of your mind. For me, it's always I'm looking out for bigger animals than something just bigger than or smaller than a bear or something. But and like I said, I normally don't worry about snakes on the trail, but after we saw a snake, the whole entire time I'm like looking at the ground where I'm hiking, and then we're trying to find a campsite, and Tim wanted to go camping all his leaves. I'm like, dude, that's like prime snake territory. I'm not dying out here on this trip. And so the whole time I was like looking around for snakes, and I never really even paid attention to it too much. But after seeing that snake, it was like kind of creeped me out a little.
Dude, I've seen snakes on like 4 or 5 backpacking trips. I've seen them in the gorge. I saw the biggest timber rattlesnake ever in the gorge, Red River Gorge. It was probably like 6 foot long. I mean, it was ridiculous. And I was like, these are out here? Are you kidding me? And I sleep out here in these woods.
We saw a bunch of snakes on the Picture Rocks trail, but they were all like garter snakes or whatever.
Yeah, like
and every single time we saw one, Tim would scream like a little girl. And it was so funny because they were just little tiny, little cute little snakes. And I don't know if there's any venomous snakes up there or not, but I mean, they were just so small, like little, like, you know, cute little noodles. And every time we saw one, Tim would be like, oh, oh, or he'd freak out. It was so funny. It made me laugh every single time.
Well, you know, snakes are, I don't know, snakes are just bleh. Snakes and spiders.
Spiders don't bother me for some reason, but I don't like snakes.
Yeah.
That's how I about stepped on that copperhead and dolly sods. That's like, that was terrifying.
The one that flew at you?
Yeah, when we were scaling up Lion's Head, like the front side of it. Dude,
that's scary. Yeah, my friend almost got bit by a rattlesnake that way in Dolly Sods. It was in Dolly Sods, yeah. What is it about Dolly Sods? There's a group of us hiking, and my one friend almost literally stepped on the rattlesnake. And my brother-in-law grabbed him and pulled him like 3 feet back, and this thing flew in the air, like lunged to try to bite him. And we're all just like, what the crap? It was freaky.
Josh, didn't you see a snake or step on a snake at Dolly Sods?
Yeah.
I about stepped on one in Dolly Sods, yeah, as we were scaling up Lion's Head.
Hey, so as I'm monitoring the chat, Southwest Ohio Adventures is asking, when are you guys hitting the Smokies again?
I don't know, maybe fall.
With our luck, never.
I don't know, like, because that road that it's going to be closed for a while, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Till July?
Till July or August, I think.
Yeah, so we probably, I'm going to guess the fall is when it's going to be. This loop that we were going to do before we headed up to Virginia was going to be the loop that Subaru and I did 5 years ago? 2016. Wow, 5 years ago. This summer, yeah, will be 5 years. And we were going to do that one, but since that road is closed and we can't even road walk back to the car, we decided to put it off.
Why in the world would they do that kind of work in the peak hiking season? Peak tourist season, right? So
I think they were planning to be done by May, but I think that, you know how construction is, or whatever weather they had must have just messed up whatever they were.
Oh yeah, I think
planning.
They did get a lot of water, a lot of rain and stuff down there. So maybe that was.
Yeah.
I was bummed, man, because every time that I've tried to backpack the Smokies, it never happens. It never works out.
Can you imagine getting a contract to work on a bridge in the Smokies, and so you're out in the middle of nowhere with these like earth movers and these big machines out there?
That could be amazing.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, but yeah, I was.
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome to.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Lance. I was just gonna say I would. There's of all the hikes I've done in the Smokies, I think they all have repeat factors, except for Mount Sterling. I'll never do that again. But like Mount Camerer was freaking awesome. I would do that again. Mount LeConte for sure I would do again. In fact, I'd love to do a loop with Mount LeConte and Charlie's Bunyan. I think that'd be awesome. Like stay at the AT shelter, the ice water spring shelter, and then hike down to the LeConte shelter, or even stay at the LeConte Lodge. That's like a bucket list thing for me, is staying at the lodge.
Dude,
I think that'd be awesome.
I did it as a day hike, the LeConte, from Alum Cave up to LeConte Summit back in 2018, I think it was. That was awesome. That lodge is so cool. I mean, that is just amazing. And I know it's booked like a year or two or something in advance. You have to, it's like impossible to book it, but man, I would love to stay up there.
I think it'd be fun to do the AT through the Smokies as like just a long trip. That would take a while. But remember, Karate, we saw a group that was doing that, right? They were through hiking just the AT through the Smokies, and they were. Where did we see them? Remember, that was a shelter. I don't remember which shelter that was.
Right there by Charlie's Bunyan, whatever that shelter is called. Those guys were a lot of fun too.
Yeah, and that's what they were through hiking, was just the AT through the Smokies, and I was like, that seems like a reasonable thing to do. How long? I don't even know how long that is.
Like 90, I think it's 90 miles or 89 miles or something like that.
That's doable.
Maybe a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would love to. I want to do some backpacking in the Smokies. So if I can make it happen with you guys, I would love to do that for sure.
I don't know, Lance. Now,
say what?
You've never been to the Smokies at all?
Oh no, I've been to the Smokies a lot of times. I just never backpacked it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I've day hiked. I've probably been to the Smoky Mountains probably 50 times in my life, literally. And I've only ever day hiked it. I've never backpacked it for whatever reason. Usually,
we'll have to get a trip planned out there for sure.
It's like I can't get a permit, or it's something like something comes up, or something's closed, or it just doesn't work out. It's just like it's not meant to be. God does not want me to backpack. He probably doesn't want me to die.
It just reminds me of like so it's you with the Smokies and Adam the serial photog with dolly sods is like cursed when it comes to dolly sods. Something always goes wrong, it seems like.
Everybody has that one place.
Adam is cursed with Mount LeConte too, because every time he hikes up it, it's covered in fog. And the one time Tim, Josh, and I hike it, it's perfect weather. I mean, you can see for miles and miles. And every single time Adam hikes it, it's always super foggy and you can't see.
Adam is such an amazing photographer too. And he would capture the most amazing photos up there if he just had a clear shot.
He's got some pretty cool pictures. Like I think at one point on one of his hikes, it opened up a little bit, and he could actually see just a little bit from, I think it was either Myrtle Point or Cliff Tops. I can't remember which section it was. He's got a couple good pictures of there and of like Alum Cave, but as far as like the views that we've had at Myrtle Point, like I don't think he's had kind of views, and it's probably my favorite view in the Smokies is probably Myrtle Point.
Yeah, I was really fortunate the day I did it because I got up there and it was clear, pretty clear. It was a little cloudy, but it was a good view, a great view.
Yeah, we ate dinner out at Myrtle Point, right? I just remember like that was like the stereotypical Smokies view of like overlapping mountain over overlapping mountain, and just it was awesome. So Brandon, that's where we got to take you next.
I don't know if Lance like isn't meant to be there. I feel like if the trip goes through, there's going to be some horrific event that happens. Someone's going to die.
I'm not like a cursed
That'd be
figure.
awesome. Oh, okay. All right, fine. I'll trust you.
Oh man.
So do we want to talk about the elephant in the room of my experience?
Go.
So, well, so we got on the North Mountain Trail, and somehow I misread the maps or something, and I really thought North Mountain was just a ridge walk, like literally, I was like, okay, once you get up on the ridge, you're fine. And it is not like that. It's like you get up there, and it's, down, down, up, 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 down. It's just constant, like scaling mountain. You're scaling mountaintops, mountain ridges, and I don't know. I've been having problems, like IT band problems. I think it started the night before, and my knee was really hurting bad, but I was just trying to push through it. And then, so at what point did we? We were like a mile from the road, and my legs just like completely gave out on me, and I just laid down in the middle of the trail. I couldn't move. It was the weirdest thing.
Yeah, we Me and Tim were pretty worried about you. At one point, I texted Tim. I didn't want to like freak you out more than you already were, and I texted Tim. I'm like, "Do we need to call 911?" And he said, "We might have to." And that's when I tried to go get Hallie and Josh, and I legit thought for a solid half an hour, 45 minutes that we were gonna have to call 911 and have you rescued off the top of that mountain.
Yeah, because I was like, at that moment, I was like, I don't think I can get down from here. I don't see myself being able to walk off this thing. So how long were you up there, Tim? Like 30 minutes with me on the ground?
I'd say, yeah, I think about 40, 45 minutes. I think at one point I thought of making a joke, but I realized it wasn't appropriate. I was gonna be like, I'm a doctor. It's okay. And then I was like, nope, Tim, you got to filter that one out. You probably shouldn't say that one right now. Maybe later.
Oh, you should have.
It's never a bad time for a joke like that. I would expect you to do that to me if I got hurt.
Yeah, so we were up there, and I think at one point I wasn't sure, Lance, if I was trying to decide, because I knew you had been like Lance had been in pain. I think all that pretty much that day.
Yeah,
that whole day.
Because I remember around lunchtime. Yeah, it took a while, and then just the whole day. I remember every step I could tell was excruciating. Like you were grunt and groan and be like, that really hurt. And I remember just thinking, I think Josh, Subaru and I kind of rotated around. Like sometimes I went up front with Brandon, and then he rotated back, and we were just trying to make sure that you were okay. And so when you stopped and you're like, I can't get up, I was like, what? Come on, you can get up. let's get going.
Come on, double your speed.
Yeah. And you're like, no, I don't think I can. And then that's when you kind of collapsed and that whole thing started. But I mean, I think it reminded me karate. Remember when I fell off my bike in this Scioto trail?
Yeah.
And after you fall, like your body, you feel okay, and then your body, at least for me, it kind of went into a little bit of shock, and my muscles just kind of went super tight. Because remember, I was riding, and then all of a sudden I was like, I gotta stop.
Yeah.
And I think Lance had that same thing. He had been in pain for so long, and he just kind of, we didn't have much water. He was taking meds and all that sort of stuff. So he was cramping up pretty bad, where I feel like he couldn't feel his legs because of that.
I knew it was bad when I kept popping ibuprofen and it didn't do anything. Like normally I take 3 ibuprofen and I could get through pretty much whatever. And I still felt every step. Like, what in the heck? It was, so I knew that was a problem. And I felt bad because I didn't want to slow the group down, and you guys were cruising along pretty good. So I wanted to make sure I was keeping up, and I think it was just a combination of things. I really don't know if it would contribute to one thing or not. I really don't know.
It was an unforgiving day for all of us. I feel like we all, what we're doing to use, we all kind of weren't expecting how hard North Mountain was going to be. Because when I was looking at all trails, I was like, oh, that looks pretty easy, because the contour lines and stuff, they weren't crazy, and so I was like, oh, this should be pretty easy. And that first hike up North Mountain from camp, that kicked my butt. And I mean, I've done some pretty hard climbs like that, and I was whooped. And then just the constant up down, and I was having knee pain too. And luckily mine wasn't as bad as yours, but I think we all weren't expecting how hard that North Mountain was going to be. And I guess the videos I watched were a little deceiving, because Syntax and Frozen, they're flying through North Mountain, and we took like almost the whole day to hike it. And I mean, we took our time though too, because the views were awesome, and we stopped quite a bit, which I was totally cool with. I'm glad that we did it the way we did. But looking back, yeah, we were all pretty sore and hurting after that one. And so it's not like your hurting wasn't warranted. I mean, we were all in pain. You just in a lot more pain.
Yeah. And
can you imagine if we pushed on at the end of that first night and tried to go up that that first climb.
Oh,
like we did in the morning.
Oh.
That was rough enough first thing in the morning. I don't know how we would
I
have
don't
done
think
it.
there were any campsites
Yeah,
up
we-
there either, so we would have kind of been in trouble.
There's like one or two with that.
We also, like, if we wouldn't have pushed on past Lambert Meadow, that had been an extra, 4 miles on Saturday. So that would have put us at, I think we ended up doing like close to 13 miles on Saturday. So we would have done close to 17 miles. And the downhill is what killed my knee coming off of McAfee Knob or Tinker's Cliffs going down from Lambert Meadow. That downhill is what killed my knee. So to do that on Saturday, destroy my knee, and then try to go up North Mountain on top of that on Saturday, it just would have been awful. I think it would have been a lot harder had we not pushed on past Lambert Meadow. And I'm still really thankful. As much as it sucked, because I really wanted to just get to camp and relax, I'm just really glad that we pushed on. And I think I could sense the disappointment in you, Lance. And I mean, a part of me wanted to stay at Lambert Meadow too, but Tim was pretty adamant about pushing on. And so sometimes Tim was the real adult in the group.
He was
on
the dad
that
figure.
trip. And so, yep, he was Daddy Tim. And so I'm Dr. Tim.
Doctor.
Oh, sorry.
Surely.
Doctor. But I'm glad we all pushed
Dr.
on.
Daddy Tim.
Dr. Daddy. I don't like that. That's weird. But yeah, Saturday was brutal. If anybody wants to hike the Triple Crown, it is way harder than you think it'll be. The map lied.
I think you made a good point though about not to pick on Syntax because he's awesome, but in his video, man, I swear he cut every time he cut to a scene. He wasn't even winded. Like he's just like, okay, now I just hiked 10 miles, blah blah blah, and it's like, so that's deceiving. So when you watch videos like that of somebody who's obviously in pretty good shape, he must be in very good shape, or he's really good at editing out all the cussing that he's been doing. Because he was flying, and then he scaled up Dragon's Tooth, and I was like, I watched that video and I'm like, okay, this can't be that bad. It really can't. But yeah, it was challenging.
It's funny because I thought that, when I think back to it, let's take Dragon's Tooth out of the equation. I feel like the first day, in some ways, it was harder than the second day to me. I don't know. At the end of the first day, I feel like I was more sore and tired. The second day, before Dragon's Tooth, of course, I feel like, except because I don't know, Lance, because I was hanging out with you, I had a little bit of a rest. I felt pretty good.
I'm glad I made your life easier.
I think it was a combination of like the windburn, the sunburn, and the dehydration.
Yeah.
Going up to Tinker's Cliffs, that kicked my butt. You guys didn't see it because I ran up ahead of you. Literally, there was a spot. I took 10 steps and I laid down, and I took 10 steps and I laid down because my legs were just killing me. I stopped sweating at one point. I was just super dehydrated.
That's always good.
Yeah, that was a sign where I'm like, okay. That's why I stopped at that one spot that I did.
We should also talk about when we thought that Brandon took a wrong turn, and for a solid 45 minutes to an hour, we legit thought we lost Brandon because he kept going ahead of us, and I was like, dude, this is not good because you had your phone in airplane mode, and there was a point in the trail, and I have a picture on my Instagram. Or I have a picture from my trip and also in the video where the trail goes straight down and straight up just before Tinker's Cliffs. And it kind of curves to the right, a road. And we're pretty far past that. And we're like, man, we don't see Brandon. Like, what if he took that road and didn't realize it? Because you were kind of like in your own world. You were like just getting it. And we're like, he could be a freaking 3 miles down this little road and not realize it and be like, oh, crap, I don't know where I'm at. And so we were I was worried because I was like, dude, where the heck is Brandon? And then we finally come up to that rock, and I just see a pair of legs laying on the ground. I'm like, is he dead?
So I actually stopped at that. There was two spots. One where it looked like the trail went down and to the left, but it actually took a sharp right. and then there's one where you went to the left and straight up, and then there was that road to the right. I stopped at both of those, like unsure what to do, and kind of scoped ahead to find the white dots.
Did you hear my voice when you were there? And you're like,
I had Tiny Tim just appear right there, and he was
trailblazers.
Hey man, you're an idiot, but I would do this, and so I'll do that. But the reason I kept going ahead though is there was these two guys and their dog that were like hiking right in front of us, and I would pass them, and then a few hundred yards they would pass me, then I would pass them, they would pass me, and so finally I'm like, okay, this is enough. Like, I'm in their way. I'm just gonna like try and get as far ahead as I can. That way they can just do their thing. So that was part of the motivator to just keep going. I felt bad getting as far ahead as I did. But yeah, if I was at a point where I really did not know where to go or what to do, I would have just stopped and waited for you guys.
Yeah. It was fine. Karate was ready to go find you.
Right. There was one point where I was like, all right, if we get down here, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to drop my pack and I'll just go find him.
I'm sorry to worry you guys.
Yeah, I was like, well, if he's lost, he's lost. I don't have the energy to go find him.
Yeah, it's my own.
Buried some.
No, I figured if you realize you got lost and you were like in an oh crap moment, you probably would have put your phone off of airplane mode and tried to contact one of us. And I remember I texted you, but we had like tried calling you, tried texting you, and we're like, great, Brandon's probably freaking dead on the side of the hill somewhere.
I was dead, but my heart was still beating. At rest though, I was up there under that rock in the shade. I think the sun and the wind for sure were just beating the crap out of me. But when I got in the shade and I just stopped moving, I was up there about 20 minutes, and that did me a lot of good. I was able to really recover. So
it's funny, that spot where that was just before Tinker's Cliff. I'm editing my video, and it's funny looking at it because I remember I was like, oh man, that looks really pretty. I bet Tinker Cliffs can't beat that. And then we passed it. I'm like, oh, that was Tinker Cliffs.
Yeah. If I had more energy, I would have scaled some of those massive boulders. But I was so tired, I'm just like, I'm laying down.
Tinker Cliffs was really, really cool. It was really awesome.
There. Yeah.
Pretty.
But I think at that point we kind of blew past it kind of quick.
I feel like there wasn't like I don't know, it was like an entire ridge. So it wasn't like a defined point, like, hey, this is
thinking
Tinker
you're going to get
Cliffs.
to Tinker
Like
Cliffs,
that.
but you're on Tinker Cliffs and you're hiking on it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. At one point I kind of felt like it because there's like, you're on like a cliff, kind of a cliff edge for like a moment. And I was like, this has got to be it. Because this is sketchy. But it was cool. It was so neat.
There actually was at least one campsite like right on the cliffs. It wouldn't have been the most convenient to camp at, but there was a group of guys up there.
Can you legally camp there though?
Yeah, no, you can't. When you're on
really?
the Appalachian Trail, at least there in Virginia, you have to camp at the Appalachian Trail shelters. You can't camp at Tinker's Cliff. I know people do it, they'll like stealth camp to watch the sunrise, but it's not worth it if like a ridge runner or something were to come, up there. It's not worth it. Plus, I don't know, LNT, leave no trace. Like, I don't know. I try to follow those principles as best as I can.
Yeah, I think I actually just saw somebody's Instagram that was like that, like camped out at Tinker's Cliff so I could see the sunrise. It was some girl, and I was like, you can't camp up there, can you? It was weird. And I was just like, oh, okay. Yeah.
It's good to know.
But I get it, that's kind of cool though, because you don't have the Red River Gorge type situation where there's like no foliage up there. It's just a bunch of bare spots because everybody's camped everywhere. It still feels a little bit pristine, which is kind of cool, even though the AT is going right through it.
Yeah, for as popular as it was of an area, I felt like it really wasn't that like dirty or run down. I really did feel like it was, for some of the more popular places we've hiked, it still felt like I was, I don't know, it just didn't feel run down or as like crazy busy. It's like somewhere like the Red River Gorge.
Yeah, I didn't see a whole lot of trash. You know, no defacing of the rock. You know, there's a lot of geological features. Nobody seemed to mess anything up. That was really nice. That was really cool to see. And we lost Josh.
He looks like he's still there, but yeah, my internet has been spotty, and I know we live in the... Well, no, he has his phone.
Maybe it was dying or something. He had to go get a charger.
Oh, there he is.
Hey, we lost you.
He's muted now. There he is.
Yeah, I have my phone set from 9 o'clock at night till tomorrow morning. Set
do not
to
disturb.
where, yeah, so it won't let. I have my screen time to off. So I think I got like till 9 till it'll shut off, because that's like my phone downtime. And so I'm trying to shut it off before it gets too late, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it shut off in time.
Yeah, so
Go
ahead.
If I lose you guys, I'll try to come back, because I gotta exit off this, turn off the thing, and then I'll come back on.
Yeah, so just to wrap up that story of my legs and whatnot. Well, my camera keeps wigging out. But so Tim hung out with me and stayed with me, and then Brandon ended up carrying my pack down the mountain. So I think Josh carried Brandon's pack, and then he gave it to me.
Yeah, I got the better end of the deal, not gonna lie.
So I kind of caused problems for everybody that day.
Well, even a funnier story is that, you know, Brandon comes, he runs back up to me and Lance. You know, he's helping out. He's kind of managing Lance a little bit, like making sure he's stable enough. So at that point, I'm carrying my own pack and I'm carrying Lance's pack. You know, we keep walking down, and I'm like, okay, Brandon's managing Lance. Lance seems like he's pretty good right now. It took about 5 or 10 minutes before I wasn't going to say anything. Brandon's like, wait, I'm not carrying a pack at all. I'm like, yeah, I noticed. Here, do you want Lance's
Well, he was
pack?
walking backwards down that mountain to make
something.
sure I didn't fall.
He was making sure you were stable. That's why I was like, I'm not going to say anything. Yeah. It's cool.
I'm like, wait, you have 2, and he's fucking fine. Like, I feel great right now. Why do I not have anything? And then it made me think about Eversol, and I'm like, wait, as soon as I picked up your pack, I'm like, this is like nothing compared to how heavy mine is. Mine probably got close to 30 pounds by the time I threw all the extra crap in it that I didn't need. And so he's got his that he's dragging to Josh. And funny thing though, I was right behind Josh and Hallie, and I was like, hey, Lance isn't doing super well, and Josh is like, no big deal. If I have to, I'll drop my pack, you know, I'll carry him. And then I sit down and wait just to make sure that you guys were okay. And then they're like clear out of sight. And so when Eversol comes running down, he's like, hey, he's not doing good. So I run up there and I'm like, wait, like Josh is gone. Does this mean I'm going to have to carry him? So I run up with the expectation that I'm going to have to carry Lance down. And my legs are like, they felt great because I was just laying there waiting for you guys. But as I'm running up, they're like on fire. And I'm like, oh, crap. Am I going to be able to do this? Like, I'm not no Josh Herod, but I'll give it a shot.
So when we saw you, Brandon, I told Hallie, I was like, let's just walk like super, super slow. And we were moving at like 0.2 miles per hour. So we were like barely moving. You know, I was like, so we walked for like 10 minutes. I'm like, for surely they should have caught us by now, you know? Mm-hmm. And then like we stopped for like 10 minutes. I didn't see you guys. I'm like, all right, something's not right. So I turned on my phone, and then, you know, Eversol texted me, and I was like, I'm going to go back up. And then like we ran into Eversol like right there on the trail. We were really only actually like maybe at the most, maybe like probably not even a quarter mile ahead of like all of you guys. But I was like, I'm going to go back and get him. And then like Josh came walking down with the pack.
Like, we figured you guys were already at the road at that point.
No, we really weren't very far. We were probably only a couple minutes ahead of you guys.
Yeah, Brandon's pack was at least 60 pounds. It was. So I remember thinking when I was hiking down with it, I was like, "Oh, this won't be that bad." And so I start carrying it. I'm like, "What is in here? A dead body?" And then two times those guys we ran into asked if they wanted to help me carry something down, and me being like I want to be badass, so I was like, "No, I'm fine. I can carry it." And then like my shoulders are going numb, my arms are going numb, and I was like, I'm gonna start just dropping stuff off of Brandon's pack. I don't even care. He picked it up along the way down, and that was.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Well, you weren't just expecting something like that to happen. Have to carry. Oh, did you? Yeah. So I think it was a combination of all the things that those 2 days. It's like the wind got us. The sun was a lot worse than it seemed. I think we all kind of got dehydrated from that. Trying to conserve water. There's hardly any water on that trail. There's no water on the North Mountain Trail at all, which just sucks. It wouldn't suck if you were, just doing an overnight, I guess. But when you're trying to do a big loop like that, man, it's just, that's awful. Yeah, it really did. But yeah, so it all worked out, and Josh and Hallie, man, you guys are awesome. You guys went to the store and got me Snickers and a Gatorade, man. That was, oh my gosh, thank you. Oh yeah, Brandon, yes. Josh. Dragon's Tooth. You were so caffeinated. I'm like, Josh, I would help you if I could. I really want to help you. And I just kept sitting there. You're like, I got it, man. I'm like, good, because I don't think I could get up. I think I made it to your cooler, Herod, and I got a beer. And I was like, this is as far as I can go. Oh, man. That cooler was nice. Oh, yeah. Well, we lost him, so I guess maybe that's a sign that we should wrap it up. I think his internet dropped. But I've been ignoring the. Huh? Yeah, I think that's a good. I've been ignoring the chat. Sorry, everybody, if you guys are still in here. Uptrail was in here. Jeremiah was in here. Brian, Wilburn, Clockwork, Chaos. Thanks so much, guys, for hopping in the chat and watching the video. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming on and spending your Thursday evening with me, and for saving me out on the trail, making sure I didn't die. I appreciate it. I hope you guys will hike with me again. I really want to do Linville Gorge. I heard it's like way worse. I've decided when I do this next trip in June, I'm making my pack as light as humanly possible. I'm not taking a chair. I'm not taking anything that's extraneous. I'm just putting my hammock, my tarp, my Costco quilt, and maybe a sit pad and food, and that's it. I'm gonna have like a 7-pound pack. Yeah, you could do that in the summer. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much. Thanks everybody for watching. I guess we'll wrap it up there. Thanks, guys.